The Man Who Knew Infinity, the opening film at the International Film Festival of India here in Goa, and we have the film's director, Matt Brown, here with us, and Toby Jones as well. 10 years in the making.
That's right. It's been a long journey, but we're so thrilled to be here and being the opening film tonight. It's an honor, and we're humbled.
But what made you decide on making a movie on S. Ramanujan? I mean, a man who's revered here in India, but in the intellectual circles, not many people. I mean, we do know who he is, but it's not that every day that you speak about him, you know.
No, well, hopefully more people will be exposed to him now. But I came across the book, The Man Who Knew Infinity, by Robert Kanigel, which was a best-selling book in the United States about 10 years ago, and I was entranced by the story. So it's been a journey, but one worth hopefully telling. So.
And also, I mean, S. Ramanujan and his, the mentor-protege relationship between him and G.H. Hardy. So what was that? That was something that was what you wanted to focus on, bring about the brainy bromance, as Jeremy Irons said.
Yeah, well, it's a human tale. It's a timeless story that I think that's what drew it to me. It's we have on one hand you've got Ramanujan, who sees a formula has no meaning unless it expresses the thought of God, and then you have G.H. Hardy, who is an atheist, and how these two men were able to come together is just it's incredible. That's what inspired me, and hopefully that's what will inspire audiences.
And also, we've seen you in movies like The Hunger Games and Captain America, and when he came up to you to play G.H. Hardy, that is Jeremy Irons.
I played John Little.
Yeah, and G.H. Hardy's colleague.
That's right, sorry.
G.H. Hardy's colleague. So what was your first reaction? I mean, were you good in maths? This is what I'm asking the entire
I certainly wasn't good at maths, but I knew a bit about Ramanujan because there was a play about him in London. It was a very successful play about him. I was fascinated because I grew up in Oxford, and that whole culture, academic culture, and how strange and exotic that culture is, the kind of the rarefied world of the Oxford colleges and Cambridge colleges, and the idea of trying to dramatise that. A lot of my best friends, their families are from those colleges, so that felt very, very appealing, and the idea of bringing that character from India into that world, I found that very compelling in the script.
And also, Oxford of those days was very, very different from the Oxford of today. I mean, also those were times when people were not. Yeah. Oh, yes and no. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. I mean, the whole point about Oxford is it's rooted in tradition and the honouring of tradition. So, yes, it's changed. Huge aspects have changed about it. You hope it wasn't racist in the same way it was racist then, but I would say that all the rituals and the architecture is obviously the same, and people go there for one sense to become part of a tradition.
And also, what made you decide on Dave to play S. Ramanujan and Jeremy Irons to play G.H. Hardy?
Well, they're such amazing actors. That first and foremost, I'm so lucky to have had them, and I learned so much from both of them. So, I think you wanted somebody for both of these roles that could capture the essence of who these great men were, and they spent so much time researching and getting into character and really bringing their all to these characters that I know I chose the right people for it.
And what was most challenging for you to basically get this tale on, translated on celluloid? Because the two very different things to adapt a book onto.
Sure. There's always the challenges with the biopic and a book and getting that. I think the biggest challenge, though, in this film was simply that we were trying to recreate 1913 in 2015. And what was great was when we were at Trinity College in Cambridge, it hasn't changed, as Toby said, and that's you can go there and you feel like you're transcending history. But in Chennai, it's very different today than it was in 1915, and it's such a modern city, and so there was a lot of challenges just in terms of shooting and finding the architecture that was from a bygone era and being able to make that work. So a lot went into that.
Also, coming to our movies here, Bollywood is really big. Also, we, on the other hand, have a parallel wave of independent cinema. So, have you caught any of these two waves, Bollywood, the big Bollywood wave, and
Well, this is an independent film, so it's an independent film even in terms of American cinema or British cinema. So I feel a kinship with the independent film here, and it's exciting to be part of this festival, especially.
Have you caught any Hindi movies or, you know?
No, I'm ashamed to say I haven't. I catch very few movies. I often working in movies, it's not the way to relax at the end of the day. You know, you read a book or you're trying to switch off from watching movies because it's not what you want to be thinking about, how other people made movies. So, no.
Also, like Ramanujan has done well on the international circuit, festival circuit, and usually what happens is movies that do very well on the international circuit, sometimes like here as in India, the filmmakers find it a little difficult to get a commercial release. Do you also, as an independent filmmaker, do you face these issues?
We do constantly face these issues, but I think more and more people are wanting these kinds of films in a commercially inundated world where you have the X-Men's and the Star Wars, which are great films. They're just different, and I think there's a need for these kinds of films, and I think people are embracing them, and we are seeing that.
And lastly, then, that you brought this movie to us, how good were you in math?
I'm not so good, no. But I had a lot of great people in math that were with me making this film, so that was helpful.
So all the very best, and I just hope the numbers for his Ramanujan film, The Man Who Knew Infinity, just grow. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.